Namaskaram, everyone. There was the second question from Anna. He actually asked me this question that, also Anna, Sadhguru had said that he can make us enlighten in a moment. Then a question arises, why everyday sadhana if he can get us there in a moment? So, it is actually like a, kind of a thing that, I'll tell you like a little bit of simple question if I ask you. So now let's say you want to eat a food. Can you eat food, whenever you want? No, isn't it? You can only eat the food when you're hungry and your stomach is not full. The analogy might sound silly, but there is a the Upanishad question. Okay, Upanishad like a story that there are like a people in the village. They are actually the monkey hunters. Okay, so what they do it is like in a tree. There's a small hole, so they put like a little bit of peanuts over there, and this is basically to lure the monkeys. So when the monkeys come over there and they put a hand inside the peanut, what is going to happen is they can only take their hands out if they have an open hand. Okay, so for example, like if you put the hand inside and if you need to bring the peanut out, it will naturally become a fist. Your hand will become a fist. So if you make your hand a fist, it will not come out. So what actually happens is because of the ignorance, the monkey will not let go of the peanuts. It just want to hold on to the peanuts. The hunters will come closer, but like the monkey is adamant to get stuck to the peanuts. And eventually what happens is, because of his ignorance, is get caught by the hunters. So the world is not actually, trapping you. The world is not holding you anywhere. We need to be clear that we are the one who are holding on to the world, not the physicality or anything. That's like a different matter, but like the psychological world, which is more subtle, but at the same time like a more entangling than the physical one. So it is just like that. So if we are willing 100%, it can happen at that moment itself. Even Sadhguru is also not required. But even if we are unable to do it, like a Sadhguru can create an energy situation where you can still attain it. But are you ready for that one? That is the another question. And that is what it is all about. What we referred as a yoga is basically your body is willing, your mind is willing, your emotions are willing, and your energy system is willing, and finally the being is willing. And as long as you don't come to the realization that like all this circus what is going on is futile and like you are ready to leave and everything, your being is willing. If your being is willing, then you can leave immediately. But the being has got like if you have read mystic music and a death book and everything, there are like many karmas which are known as sanchita karma, prarabdha, and all the other kinds of karma is over there. Okay, so because of that reason, the being is still not matured enough. This is what we refer as a spiritual maturity. So intellectually you can trick yourself, okay, I want a liberation, but for your body, for your emotion, and for your being, for your energies, your idea of liberation means nothing, because they do not know what it is. They don't know. So because of that reason, the first thing, the simplest answer is going to be, are you absolutely willing? But for example, you go to the sadhana and you are still thinking, okay, what I'm going to do next after I complete the sadhana, I need to do this. So you have got a list of things to do in your life apart from doing the sadhana. Even if you are thinking about after doing the sadhana, I want to get enlightened, for your being, the being does not know what the enlightenment means, because enlightenment is just the idea cropped out in the mind that was planted by somebody else in the past. So the main objective is to just, do the sadhana, be with the sadhana, become the sadhana. And that is where the inevitability comes into the play. So now the another question, like why we need to do sadhana every day. See, like there are different kind of practices. Anyway, like I'll give you a little bit of premise. I'll not go too much deeper into this one. Like I shouldn't be speaking too much deeper into this one. I'm just like speaking from my experience and Sadhguru's instructions and everything. So there are certain kind of sadhanas which are mainly designed only to handle the karma. Okay, just to handle the karma, so that like you can be happy, or like go on with your life, so that like after a while, like you develop a maturity to go for ultimate possibility, which is the enlightenment and liberation itself, self-realization, what we call about it. But like most of the people are not ready for that one, like for because of this reason, like if like initially the Isha Yoga program 35 years ago, when Sadhguru started, like it actually like started with Shunya, and then Sakti Chalana Kriya, and then Shami Mavdra and all this kind of stuff were all together packed up in one. But most of the people like neither had determination, or like they are not prepared to go for powerful Kriya Yoga process and everything, because like they are not, their being is not prepared. They have not made up a mind. They still think that like they can fix their life on their own, which is actually not necessary. It's just the circus of mind, that the mind thinks that I can fix my life, or there is something to be fixed, which is both actually the illusion. So like because of this reason, like different sadhanas have different purposes. We have actually like extensively discussed this in the few previous videos where I discussed that like there are certain kind of practices which are to handle the karma, or something are to handle build the ladder, climb the ladder. Some of them are like building the foundation, building the awareness and so on, and building the energy system and so on. So basically one thing is for example, like it's just like eating a food. Like why you eat a food is just like maintaining yourself, because your body goes through certain kind of wearing out, because the body is itself what? It's just a machine. And similar to that one, like there are like you got like different bodies, subtle bodies, manomaya kosha, pranamaya kosha. These are the things like that gets weared out, used up by time. And if you want to go for a higher possibility, if you know that like one thing is like you cannot handle higher amount of energy at once. If you want to do that, most of the people are not ready. And today's world, like there's a taboo regarding that. They do not know. They think that like okay, like people have died. Like there is a situation like last time when I went to Kailash, there was an incident where if you do not know, I think like I'm like going a little bit away from the topic, but I'll just like keep this short. I will not go too much deeper. In Kailash, what actually happened is there was a guru, and then he went with a number of disciples to the inner Kora, which is actually the inner circumambulation to the Kailash, inside the cave. And they went over there, and then like they didn't came back. So the Chinese officials went to find where they went. And then when they went inside the cave, they found out only the bodies. Okay. So in yogic term, like we can say this, they all attend Mahasamadhi at once. But in today's world, like if people will go through that energy states and like they collapse and everything, all that kind of things, people cannot understand like what this is. We are living in the 21st century. Okay. So one thing is like your body is unable to handle it. And even if you try that, it is very rare to find a guru or someone who is going to actually try it on you, because one thing like you may not be able to handle that one thing, even if you want to try a Mahasamadhi, or it can actually damage your energy system. That's why in any kind of spiritual practices, like lot and lot of sadhana is just designed to prepare yourself so that like you can handle that without damaging your energy system, if you follow kriya yoga, of course. So that is like the reason, like why you have to go the day in and day out. You have to go over there, not only because of that, like you are gathering more karma also. Because of that reason, like you have to do it so that you can build up your system, build up the energy and so on, so that eventually you'll reach over there. This is a scientific approach, okay? This is a scientific approach because you still have not trusted a guru. This is why it is happening. If you trust a guru, it can happen in a moment, just like you said earlier. And there is a follow-up question which says that, I get that for sustaining BSP, like experience sadhana is important, but my question is, why can't BSP last forever? Okay, this is the same answer to the previous questions. So there are like many gurus, like I wouldn't say like all the gurus, but like I've known quite a few, like they would just directly come to the disciple, they'll touch their forehead, or like this is known as the Sakti part, where like they will channel their Kundalini energy and then, make your Kundalini also rise. But like as Sadhguru has mentioned, like these are very dangerous thing to do. Like if you are not prepared, for example, let's say you are not clear like what you want in your life. And that is why we have inner engineering, to give you clarity. Okay, we want to give you clarity and balance. What Sadhguru wants to give you clarity and balance before you move on to take charge of your own life. Because if you are not prepared, and then like if you raise your Kundalini, you can actually damage your energy system, which is the pranamaya kosha. So as Sadhguru has mentioned that like the karma in the the energy system is actually like has multiplier effect rather than the physicality. So why can't BSP last forever is the same thing. Why I gave you the example of the Saktipat is the same reason. In Saktipat, a guru is channeling his energy and then it's making your Kundalini rise. So in the BSP also is the same thing. In advanced programs also, like there is a certain kind of energy system is created, like the environment is created, the ambience is created in such a way that the energy can be raised. But at the same time, like if you have read in Mr. Musing and everything, that your Kundalini, your Muladhara chakra is actually locked at that period, so that you can, if you are aware and if you are open enough, you can experience whatever you could experience without doing that. So like there are two things why can't BSP last forever. It can actually last forever. It can actually last forever, and that is why like a sadhana is required. And this is basically like what you refer as a BSP and everything. It has a dimension of spirituality also, but it's not purely spirituality. It is spirituality, of course, but it is more of a mysticism. It is actually more of a mysticism rather than the spirituality, because a kriya yoga and everything is not necessary for like the spiritual process. This is one of the process where, let's say like you go to powerful programs or like a different kind of energy places, you experience something. Now when you experience something, like it is possible because of the mysticism and everything. The spiritual dimension is also there, but a lingam making you experience something, it's part of the mysticism. Okay, because you cannot do it yourself. So if you want to sustain that BSP yourself, there are two ways to do it. One way is like either you need to have a consecrated space at your place. You need to sustain your sadhana. And another thing is ramping up your sadhana so that eventually you don't need the external support. Like you are converting or like you are transforming yourself into the yantra. Because like your body is yantra itself, like it has a potential at the moment, it has a possibility, but you have not prepared it yet. But like it is seen that like in a single lifetime, like without a grace of guru, it's nearly impossible for you to not only wrap up the sadhana, but just to give that glimpse because of the mysticism, so that like you can actually go for it. Go for it. Okay. If you don't know anything about mysticism, like all this energy spaces and like all this kind of like advanced programs, like if you don't know what is happening, then like you'll not spend even a moment. But it is possible. It's 100% possible. It can happen all the time. So there is like a last question. It's so hard for me working daily towards society expected achievements, knowing that it won't matter at the end. Knowing whatever we do in the world has zero significance. Still have to do it along with sadhana. This is actually not true. This is not actually true. So whatever you do in life, actually like it is not that like it does not matter at the end. Why you are thinking in terms of the matter in the world? Because you are only thinking in terms of give and take, like a profit and loss. You are still like a logical in nature. The existence is not logical nature. You have to understand that the logical aspects is only for the survival. It's not the experiential part. For example, like if you look into like if you have been to like some of the temples over there, if you look into the temples, in many places, at least in the Eastern mysticism and all these temples, nobody had actually like written their name who actually built all these temples. Nobody knows. Maybe like they know the king who actually funded that, but nobody actually knows like who actually carved all this, who actually like do all these tasks to build this. If you go to like Ajanta, Ellora, you do not know like who were the people like who did this. They know like they actually belong to like a Hinduism, Jainism, and like a Buddhism and all that kind of stuff. But like they don't know, and they are not actually doing to achieve anything. It's the sheer outpouring of devotion and fulfillment, because they have experienced something and they have found out that whatever they have been doing at the end was all limited, just like you were saying, but that is not it. When they have experienced something, they found out that other people are also in the trap, same trap where you were. So they wanted to leave behind a possibility for other people. And this is what it is all about. Like even if you don't leave any possibility, it doesn't really matter. Because now what is going to happen is like to survive, you don't need to do anything. You just like you can go to in front of the temple, you can survive without any issue. There are many people doing that. Now like why you want to survive better, like for example like you are talking about towards society expected achievements. See, like what is going to happen is at the moment like you are looking society as different from you. It's not so. The society does not actually exist. Only you and me exist. And if you are aware, the society will slowly become aware. This is the greatest opportunity that you can not only transform yourself, but transform the society as a whole. So like if you look from the existential point of view, everything is meaningless, like you said. But from the point of view of the mind, but if you look from the point of view, like if you think that like everything is there, you still are alive and everything. Now, the only choice you need to ask to yourself: do you want a well-being, or do you want a suffering for yourself, or misery for yourself? You'll obviously say, I want well-being. But now you still have not come to the clarity that like what the well-being actually mean to you. That is where like a Sadhguru has like pointed out, like if your body is in the well-being, it's called health. If your well-being is very good in your body, it's called what? It's called pleasure. If your mind is in the well-being, what is going to say? It is going to say, the happiness. And if you're like it becomes very, it's called joy. Okay, and if your emotion is very pleasant, we call it what? Love. If it is too pleasant, we call it compassion. And if your energies are, pleasant, we call it bliss. And it is more intense, we call it ecstasy. And finally, These four are the inner engineering. Now, the final part comes the society, and that is where what Sadhguru says is, if the ambience or the surrounding where you live becomes pleasant, the way you want it, it's called success. And this is what we known as what? Outer inner engineering. So this is where you have to work towards yourself first. And that is where the Sangamitra also comes into play. If you look into the Isa Sangamitra, it's about that. The first strive you take for yourself, so that you are not the issue for yourself, whatever you want to experience in your life. The external situation is not 100% in your hand, but 80% of your life is already in your hand, which is the inner engineering. The 20%, which is the success part, is the external aspect. For that one, if you handle your energies and everything, now you will do what is actually necessary for the situation, the inclusive action, rather than what makes you happy, or try to avoid what makes you unhappy. And that is what all this is all about. So when you go over there, now everything matters to you, because like we mentioned in the earlier question, that if you experience everything as yourself, you will do the best you can. If you cannot do best, you close your eyes, boom, nameless excesses. So how you carry yourself is more important. And one of the issue why you might be asking this is because most of the people have not actually realized what they want from life. So this is what it is, the ultimate well-being. Pleasantness in your mind, pleasantness in your body, pleasantness in your emotions, pleasantness in your energies, and pleasantness in the environment. The environment may not be completely in your hand, but we can do as much as you can. And that's where Sadhguru says that if you do it, if it happens, good. If it does not happen, it's still very good, because you didn't let your humanity die. You did your best, and that is where you are going to continuously break your limitations, and that is going to the path for your liberation and ultimate possibility also. Sure.